All right, let's talk Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, as mine has come in for a review in this iridescent beige color that they're trying to pass off as pink. And obviously this isn't going to be a full review. I just got the device a day or so ago, even though I feel like I could do the full review having used the software for 10 days on the Galaxy S25 Plus, but we're going to hold off on that for now. But now getting it and putting it through its paces, I really question now more than ever who the S25 Ultra is meant for. And two things can be possible at the same time. And I find myself saying that a lot on this channel because it's often true, where reality is somewhere in between the two polarizing opinions that we always get on YouTube and on Twitter. And that is that this phone is a very good phone. It's a solid performer. The Snapdragon 8 Elite absolutely screams on this device. The battery life is a little bit better, not as much as I would like, but it is a little bit better on this. The display is gorgeous. We'll talk about that in a moment. This can be an excellent phone for a lot of people. It also can be disappointing because I don't live in a vacuum. I see what Samsung is charging for something like this, and I know there are better choices. And this is the first year where it feels like the S25 Ultra is merely a slightly bumped up version of the S25 Plus, as opposed to what usually is the case. Whereas the S25 Plus feels like a nerfed version of the Galaxy S25 Ultra. That's turned around, and it seems, I'm absolutely convinced, now having used these devices for going on 2 weeks now combined, that Samsung is okay just living with the consumer, the carrier store customer that is walking into their store saying, hey, I've got an S21, I've got this S22 Plus that's getting a little sluggish or whatever, I don't like the battery life anymore. What else is new? What's new? I had two people in the league that I bowl in come up to me and say, hey, you know anything about this S25 Plus? And I handed it to him. It's like, oh, this is nice. Yeah, the guy just told me this is the new one. So I went ahead and got it. 25 bucks a month, 30 bucks a month. That's what Samsung is counting on. And while I can understand that this is going to be a perfectly fine device for people, in fact, I think it's the device you should go for. It's the nicest Galaxy in the hand since the S10 Plus. It's light, it's thin, it's nice, it's powerful. 6.7-inch display is very nice. I don't really like the 6.9-inch display on the Ultra, but it kind of speaks to what Samsung is doing. And that's where it comes to the S25 Ultra, and I really don't know where its place is. Because people paying $1,300 are typically enthusiasts who want the latest and greatest from their phones. That's why we were not okay with, but we can understand paying more for the Notes back in the day. Because that was the enthusiast device. This isn't the enthusiast phone anymore. There isn't an enthusiast Samsung phone anymore, unless you're talking about the foldables. And I think that's what it's going to come to. People have talked about it. Some of you predicted it in the comment section. I absolutely agree. I think this is the last year you're going to see an Ultra in the current form it's in. I think you're going to just see the Plus, like the S21 Ultra, just become the Ultra again, and they removed the S Pen entirely. They kind of softened the ground, testing it out, removing functionality, I think was the first kind of wave to soften the blow when they eventually just remove it completely and put it in the Galaxy Z Fold 7 or whatever comes after. I think they're just going to say, you know what, enthusiasts, have at it. Here's your $2,000 folding phone. We'll shove everything in that since we need a reason to sell those anyway, or whatever, and we could put you in a corner and you won't complain anymore, and we're just going to make these the consumer level devices and charge whatever we want to charge for them. And I think that's a really sad thing to speak on, but I do believe that's the way that we're going to go and what you're going to see later this year. And like I said, this is a fine phone. It's a good phone. It is very difficult in 2025 to make a bad smartphone. Heck, even Google's making good phone. But you understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. This is a really good phone. People are going to be happy with it. There are better things out there. It doesn't excuse them for not increasing the battery size. It doesn't excuse them for taking away RAM, essentially, and not giving us a 16 gigabytes of RAM variant, especially when they're pushing all this Galaxy AI nonsense on us. There's plenty of reasons why that I could be disappointed about this phone, but still recognize it's going to be a decent performer for a lot of people out there, especially if you're comfortable with Samsung. Here's what I don't want you to do. There are plenty of reasons to buy specifically the Plus, but also the Ultra on its own merits as a smartphone. If you're a Samsung fan, if it's what you're used to, if you just love the Ultra, if you want to buy one of these and you pay $1,300, that's fine. This can be a good phone. But the reason why this is a good phone has nothing to do with the software nonsense they're selling you. Absolutely nothing. My editor at Android Police, Will Satterberg, wrote a beautiful piece today highlighting exactly, I'm going to put it in the description, link in the description, highlighting exactly what the issue is with this phone and the separation between what Samsung is offering us and the reality of what's offered elsewhere. But none of what you do on this phone, I believe, is affected by the software enhancements that Samsung has made. And that's why it annoyed me when people were jumping up and down saying, well, I don't care about the hardware innovation. The Samsung focused on software. Oh, did they? Did they? Because let me tell you something. I've been using it on this S25 Plus for 10 days. Now I'm using it here. Now Brief does nothing. Literally nothing. I'm going to do another video on the settings that you have to jump through because One UI 7 has some odd defaults. The lock screen, you got to change the cards instead of icons, or else you're going to have them all just in the corner, top corner here. Hard to read. It's a mess. One UI has a lot of weird quirks this year as far as the default settings are concerned. But Now Brief does nothing. If there's a violent crime that happened within the last 24 hours in the United States, boy, Now Brief can't wait to tell you about it. That's all you're going to see. You're going to see that, you're going to see your weather, and it's going to tell you about your meetings you have upcoming. But it's not even going to take them off when the meetings are done. I had a meeting that was over for 2 hours. Now Brief still had it on there. It offers zero insights, zero anything. I was using a Galaxy Watch Ultra, tracking my sleep. It do that a little bit, but you got to go into Samsung Health and set it up and all these other things. I was just waiting. I'm on day whatever on this thing. Still waiting for it to do something. You want to say it's learning? If anything, it's giving me less. Samsung has a big overhaul to do there. And I don't want to hear about cross-app integration. You've seen plenty of people do the same things on their Pixel 9 Pro XL. Mr. Mobile had his review, doing it on the OnePlus 13. It's no different from anything else. So while I can compliment this phone, and I will in a moment, I promise, that's not the reason why you buy it. But let's talk about the reasons why you would buy it. Display is gorgeous. And this is why when people ask, why do you do these negative videos? Why do you get all upset? Just don't buy it. No. I want a better product, okay? Because I'm a Samsung fan, so I'd like a better product. That's why last year I complained about the display saturation and how it was garbage. They changed that this year. Samsung is back. Samsung panels, I should say, so you can get overboard. Samsung panels, let's go ahead and dim this so maybe you can see it on camera. Samsung panels are back. This is saturated, gorgeous. You could use the vividness slider, crank it all the way up if you want. If you still need the natural tones, if it hurts your eyes, you could still get that, but give me the option. This is an Ultra. I paid $1,300. I paid good money for these phones. Samsung was known for beautiful panels, so I'm glad that they went back to that on the S25 Ultra. Performance we talked about. Snapdragon 8 Elite, fantastic. Gaming's been excellent. Genshin Impact, Call of Duty Mobile. Whatever you play, you're going to have no problem. And don't talk to me about ray tracing yet. You're not playing any games that are using that. And if you are, then maybe you'll notice a slight difference. But you're not playing any games that do that. Battery life's a little bit better than it was. Probably about the same. Not as good as I'm getting on my OnePlus 13, obviously. Charging speeds are what they are. But overall, the software experience has been relatively stable. A couple things there and there. The Now bar, at least there's Google Maps now in the Now bar. So it's providing some functionality. I have more hope and optimism about the Now bar than I do Now Brief. I do think that you'll get some utility there on the lock screen from the Now bar, but right now it's not anything. Just focus on the fact that I do like the refresh, the visual refresh on One UI 7. It's grown on me a little bit. It was needed. They needed to do something. I don't know what, but they did something, and that's fine. It's better than doing nothing. Software is relatively reliable and stable. The hardware is good. It's high-end as always, okay? No one's saying this wasn't a high-end phone. No one's saying that this wasn't the device that you should probably having, that you could be happy with when it's in your pocket. Nobody's saying that. What we're saying is that for that kind of money, there should have been more here, especially on the camera side, especially on the chart. A whole list of things that we've already talked about. And could we get some color back in these phones, please? This is seriously iridescent beige. They had the gall to say that this has anything to do with pink. There's no pink here. There's no pink here. This is the best color out of the entire Samsung lineup, this navy blue they put on the regular and the Plus, and it's nowhere to be found on the Ultra. But if you got one, let's finish it up like this. If you got an S25 Ultra, if you purchased it, if you spent your $400 or whatever else, and you're a Samsung fan, if you're coming from an S21 Ultra, if you're coming from an S22 Ultra, you're probably happy, right? You're a Samsung fan already. You weren't going anywhere. You weren't buying a Pixel. You weren't buying an iPhone. You like Samsung. This is it. And if anything, you got yourself a collector's item because most likely it's going to be the last Ultra. They stripped away kind of the last uniqueness of the Note with this phone, and I think it is paving the way for the Ultra just going away completely. So maybe you got yourself a collector's item there. And that's going to be a different video because that's really disappointing, because the fact that you're going to have to pay now close to $2,000 to pick up a Z Fold 7 just to get an S Pen or a full functioning S Pen. And then Samsung will ride back in like conquering heroes by adding Bluetooth functionality back to the S Pen in the Fold 7. And then we'll be left with a phone, an Ultra, that no longer has an S Pen whatsoever. Maybe it's a generational thing. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, why is it that, because I use it for navigation, right? I use it to just go through the interface. I use it like I'm using a stylus on my Palm 5 from back in the day, a Palm 3 XE, whatever I was using. That's how I kind of use the S Pen. So for me, it's more obvious when you take features away from that. But maybe you kids out there are not using your S Pens the way us old folks are using our S Pens. But anyway, good phone. Don't know who should buy it. Enthusiasts are going to ask for more. Casuals are going to go for something like the S25 Plus. And that's basically where I land. But full reviews on everything, full comparisons on everything coming up. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that delicious day.